This is a how-to video on using Gantter to make project Gantt charts. The first step is to create a new project. Once you've logged in, you can use the plus button and choose either a blank template or the templates you see here. Once you have your project set up, you can begin adding to the Gantt chart. You can see I've added several tasks here, and we're going to start by adjusting the view. Sometimes you might want to see the extra columns of the table. There are custom columns behind the timeline that you can use if needed. You can also move the bar further to the left to see more of the timeline. And you can also zoom in or out depending on what you need to see. The next step is to add new items to our Gantt chart. We can click on an empty row and add the task name. Once we've added a task name, there is a default date. We want to go ahead and change that. We can do that using the calendars here, or we can slide the taskbar around on the timeline. Once you have your date set, the duration will auto-calculate. Next is our task properties. You can access these two ways. You can double-click on the task name, or you can click on the calendar icon on the left of the task. In the first tab, we have general properties such as the name, duration, and deadline. You can also change items to milestones. You can also add location, industry information, and the percentage complete for the task. If I set this to 50% complete, then we can see the black bar that is half the length of the taskbar on the timeline. In the second tab, we can add resources that are assigned to each task. When you first start a project Gantt chart, you'll need to come to the Resources section by using the resource icon on the left, and enter in both personnel and material resources for the project. You can categorize each resource as a work resource or a material resource in the type column. You can also add the cost per hour or unit. Once you have the initial resource list set up, you can assign them to individual tasks. Here in the Resources tab, you can select any personnel or materials for this task and how much of each is required. You can also set predecessors or dependencies for each task. This task, beginning, is dependent on the progress payment number 3 being completed, so I will select that task as the predecessor. I can also set what type of dependency this is, and this particular one is a finish to start. You can also set the lag if there is any. After saving, I can see the arrow showing the dependency. There are several more tabs in the Task Properties window. We have Advanced Constraints, Notes, Links, Color Customization Options, Risks, and the Custom Columns. Once you're happy with the Gantt chart, we need to make sure it is shared with all relevant team members and stakeholders. Using the Share button on the top right, we can see the Share menu. We'll type in an email and select what permissions that user has, either editor or viewer permissions. Then we can see the list of everyone the Gantt chart has been shared with. Once our share list is complete, we can go ahead and share the invite to our completed Gantt chart.